CHUKY, Child's Play. The storm rattled the windows of the pawn shop on 7th Street, lightning flashing against shelves stacked with forgotten things, radios that whispered on their own, mirrors that showed faces that weren't there, and, tucked away in a dusty glass case, a doll. At first glance, it was ordinary, a child's toy, freckled cheeks, painted smile, blue overalls, and shoes scuffed from play. But its eyes, plastic, yet too bright, followed anyone who lingered near. Ray, the shop owner, didn't like keeping it. He claimed the doll had been sold to him by a man who rushed out of the store, refusing even to take money back. Ray laughed it off in front of customers, but when he closed the shop at night, he made sure to cover the glass case with a sheet. It didn't matter. He still heard the faint tap, tap, tap inside, as the little hands scratched to be let out. When the doll finally sold, it was to a young mother named Karen, desperate to find a birthday gift her son could love. Money was tight, but the doll was cheap. Almost too cheap. The shop owner hesitated, but Karen's pleading eyes won him over. He bagged the doll, muttered a warning she didn't hear, and handed it over. Her son Andy's face lit up at the sight of his new friend. He named it, tucked it under his arm, and whispered secrets into its plastic ear. That night, Karen heard him talking to it long past bedtime. She smiled at first. Children often imagined their toys spoke back, but her smile faded when she pressed her ear to the door and heard a second voice. Low. Raspy. Wrong. Strange things began happening in their apartment. The TV flicked on at 3 a.m., always tuned to static. Kitchen knives shifted from drawers. Small footprints appeared in spilled flour on the counter, too small to be Karen's, too wide to be Andy's. Once, when Karen returned from work, she found the doll sitting in the window, head tilted, staring at the street below, though she swore she had left it on Andy's bed. Neighbors whispered. One night, the janitor swore he heard footsteps in the basement, light, quick, childlike, but when he searched, all he found was the doll sitting atop a crate, grinning. Later, the janitor slipped on the stairs. They said it was an accident, but Karen couldn't ignore the way Andy whispered to his doll that night, "I didn't want him to fall." The truth revealed itself in pieces. Karen came home early one evening, just in time to see the doll standing at the counter, knife in hand, dragging the blade across the wooden surface as though practicing. Its head snapped toward her, and for the first time, the smile wasn't painted, it stretched. Too wide. Its eyes glinted red in the half-light. Then, with a giggle that was not a child's at all, it toppled over, limp again. Karen tried to throw it away. She stuffed it into a dumpster 3 blocks away. The next morning, Andy was at the table, happily feeding cereal to his doll, as though nothing had happened. She burned it in the fireplace, plastic melted, smoke blackened the walls, the smell of scorched rubber filled the apartment. But when she woke in the night, the doll was there in the corner chair, whole again, its clothes unstained, its smile sharper. By then, Karen knew. The doll was alive. Worse, something lived inside it. A spirit, a murderer's soul, bound by some dark ritual. Its voice grew bolder, taunting her in the shadows, whispering through vents, laughing when lights went out. It told her things about neighbors, about deaths in the city, details that only the police should know. Andy defended it, begged her not to hurt his friend. He didn't understand. The killings escalated. A teacher found lifeless in her home, no forced entry, only a trail of small footprints across the carpet. A man in the next building bled out in the elevator, his last words, "It was a child, no, a doll," before silence claimed him. Panic spread, rumors of a toy killer circling the streets. The police dismissed it until one of their own fell. Detective Norris investigated, skeptical until he saw it himself. The doll lunged at him in the dark, blade flashing, laughter echoing off the walls. He fired his gun, but bullets only tore through fabric, never stopping it. Together, Karen and Norris hunted for a way to end it. Old records revealed a murderer named Charles, executed years ago, who had practiced black magic. Witnesses swore he had shouted a curse with his dying breath, promising to cheat death by hiding in the body of a friend to the end. Now that friend was in Andy's room, whispering in his ear, trying to claim more than companionship, trying to take his body, to trade plastic for flesh. The ritual was nearly complete. The final confrontation came in the abandoned factory where the dolls were made, a place of conveyor belts and hollow plastic heads staring with empty eyes. The killer doll stalked them through aisles of its own kind, using the chaos to hide, dart, strike. Machines roared to life on their own. Sparks flew. The smell of melted plastic filled the air. Karen grabbed Andy, pulling him back as the doll leapt, knife raised, laughter shrill. But Norris was ready. A final shot hit just right, tearing through the doll's chest. It screamed not in plastic, but in human agony as smoke poured from its body. The spirit within shrieked, clawing to hold on, before it dissolved into the air, leaving only an empty shell. The doll lay motionless, burned, its smile melted into a grimace. Andy wept for his friend, not fully understanding. Karen held him, whispering that it was over. But in the silence of the factory, surrounded by rows of untouched dolls, one pair of painted eyes blinked. And then another. The curse had never been bound to just one body. And somewhere, in the dark, the laughter began again.